Hello, my name is Mr. Fisher Mooser, and this is the explanation video of the Moose SMP server. In this video, you will find great detail on all aspects of the Moose SMP server. I have included timestamps here, as you can see, of the different aspects of the Moose SMP server that we will be discussing in this video. If you already know something about one of these topics, feel free to skip around, but I do suggest you watch the whole thing as some aspects will be talked in great detail and you might miss something. If you happen to miss anything throughout the video, feel free to come back here and see an area that you may have missed. If you have any questions regarding the Moose SMP server after the video, feel free to use the questionnaire located on the About page of the Mr. Fisher Mooser website. With that said, let's go ahead and jump right into the video. As I said, my name is Mr. Fisher Mooser, or Moose for short. I'm a 20-year-old content creator with a big vision and a passion for a server unlike any other. I've always had a dream of one day being able to create my own game and/or Minecraft server. Over the years, I have studied servers and game development, and it has multiplied my passion for the dream. My dream is to be able to create a game or server unlike any other, where players from all games, all styles, and all types of play can join together in one place, to play with people they would normally never even meet. The Moose SMP server was an idea that started back in early 2020. I started the Moose SMP with a group of friends and decided to add lore to it after watching the Dream SMP and falling in love with the idea of adding lore to Minecraft in order to make it and keep it exciting for veteran players. During that time, I began to have an idea of a server like the Dream SMP, a lore-based SMP server with content creators. However, this server would allow for viewers to join in on the fun. 2 years went by as we wrapped up Season 2 of the Moose SMP. Work for the Moose SMP server had officially begun, and the idea was for the server to launch during Season 3. The lore at the time was essentially being made up on the spot, and at other times about a week or two in advance, before we ran what I called lore events. The idea of the Moose SMP server skyrocketed from there. Multiple ideas of what type of server the Moose SMP would be had changed at least 5 times before becoming what it is today. A lore-based, family-friendly, RPG-style SMP server that no one and everyone can become a someone. The team behind the Moose SMP started out with just the staff members from my YouTube channel and my brother. Shortly after we began playing on the SMP, I went out in search of cast members to join for Season 2. I found small streamers who enjoyed survival Minecraft and asked if they would be interested in joining the SMP. I managed to find a few that made up the cast for Season 2. Currently, the team working on the Moose SMP server consists of myself as owner and lead of all projects, Tuck as the head of development, Green Dino as the main builder and creative insight specialist, and Red as the all-around helper. Primarily, I do all the work for the planning and development of the server for the time being. The others offer their insight and suggestions, and we work on the server together. The plan for the team is that everyone will work on a certain area and run it by me once they are through. Whether that area be a certain task, a specific job, or perhaps an area of expertise. The team will be able to pick from a list that I give them and be able to work on that task. I want the community to play a big part in the development of the server, as they will be the ones playing on and investing in the server. I have the final say over anything that happens on or to the server, but I give everyone creative liberty to come to me with their ideas or suggestions. My team will consist of mature people who share the same passion as I do. I do plan on releasing applications in the distant future for things like staff, cast members, subcast members, etc. However, I may decide to have applications for server research and development soon. One of the things that sets the Moose SMP apart from every other Minecraft server and even other games is the community that I am going to create. The Moose SMP will essentially be a real community with real lives, but housed within a video game. There will be real friendships made and even real enemies gained. I am creating a place where players from all genres and styles can come together and live in a world of their own making, alongside other players whom they may have never met otherwise. The Moose SMP is going to be known for its player interaction. Most MMORPGs do not have much player interaction. In fact, you could play the whole game and never even see one other player. Moose SMP will not only promote player interaction, but require it. You will not be able to play for very long without needing to interact with another player. This could be in the form of selling your goods to a merchant, hiring protection from thugs, hiring workers who work under you, or anything else you can come up with. The Moose SMP will force you to get to know your fellow gamers in this real community experience. You will have those neighbors that you love to hang out with, but you will also have those you can't stand to be around. Every player in the Moose SMP will have the opportunity to climb the ladder of the hierarchy and potentially become a noble, officer, or even a king. You start out at the same status as everyone else, peasant or subject. You, the player, can eventually climb the ranks and even become a member of the main cast if you play your cards right. Gamers of all play styles will enjoy playing on the Moose SMP because this server is more than just a game. The Moose SMP is a lifestyle. You will be joining a community and playing a life simulation inside of a Minecraft server. Therefore, even if you don't normally main Minecraft, you will still find joy and excitement when playing on the Moose SMP server. The downfall of many aspiring server developers is the fact that things cost money. How true this may be, the Moose SMP strives to operate on a low expense budget. Currently, all the team members are voluntarily giving their free time to work on the server. Once the server is launched, there will be ability to purchase different things on the website for both in-game and real life. Cosmetics and merch of different kinds may be purchased to support the server. Most of the proceeds will be given directly back to the server. The plan is to one day be able to afford to pay the cast members and staff team for their duties, making the Moose SMP an actual business with remote job opportunities for many aspiring gamers and creators. Until then, donations are graciously accepted and will be used for the server's development. You can donate by going to the link found on the homepage of the Mr. Fisher Mooser website, mrfishermooser.com. The Moose SMP server consists of multiple aspects that together form the server, the Moose SMP server. The first part of the Moose SMP is a lore-based SMP. An SMP is a Minecraft survival world for multiple players. Most SMPs are just a normal survival playthrough. The Moose SMP, however, includes lore to keep the gameplay entertaining and constantly moving. In a normal SMP, it gets boring once everyone has acquired netherite or defeated the Ender Dragon. With the implementation of lore, the storyline keeps things going and entertaining. The custom storyline prevents the server from getting boring. There is always something happening on the Moose SMP. The Moose SMP server is also an MMORPG. Most MMORPG servers are not quite what I think a MMORPG should be. You may be on the same server as another player, but you could play the whole game without ever seeing another player. On the Moose SMP, player interaction is a huge part of how the server operates. You will not be able to go far without doing something that involves another player. You will be playing an RPG, but with other players. The Moose SMP also consists of many features that contribute towards a faction server. The Moose SMP is made up of different social statuses and allows room for factions to then be created. Whether you are loyal to a kingdom or a leader of your own group outside of the kingdom's boundaries, there are plenty of opportunities for creating or joining some form of a social faction. The Moose SMP also consists of attributes of that of an Anarchy server. What makes Anarchy servers fun for the players is the freedom to do whatever they want. The Moose SMP allows this to some extent. You can do nearly anything you can think of. Exceptions to this are made to keep the server functional and not nearly as chaotic as traditional Anarchy servers, not to mention the fact that hacking or cheating on my server is strongly prohibited. Another thing that sets the Moose SMP apart from other servers is its Christian standards and values. I am a Christian and thus will be bringing my standards into the server. Things like swearing and crude humor will both be discouraged and even punishable. This will enable the Moose SMP server to be fun for the whole family to either play or watch. I plan on having the majority of players be older, but the server will also be streamed and recorded for social media. For the viewers that may be younger, all content will be rated E for everyone. So one may ask, how do you play on the Moose SMP? What's the gameplay like? What does it look like if I was to play on the Moose SMP server? This can be divided into several different categories. The first category is about the main cast and the main storyline. The main storyline is the lore that directs the whole server. Things that can change the entirety of the server will happen because of the main storyline. The main cast are those who participate as the sole proprietors of the main storyline. The focus of everything rests in them. The main cast are also those who stream or record what happens during each season of the SMP. This is the highest role on the server apart from the server staff. Subcast and staff. The subcast and staff of the Moose SMP are not the same roles. The subcast members have no server-based authority over the players. They cannot ban, mute, kick, etc. They are closer to the main cast but not held up as high. The subcast members are players who are dedicated to helping the Moose SMP and can be seen as being more like beta testers or playable NPCs. They will be able to play on the server during the pre-release phase and are required to keep the server running smoothly. As a normal player, you're going to have to learn or earn skills in order to unlock different things. Where do you go to learn or acquire these new skills? That is the role of the subcast members. They follow the same standards as the staff and have requirements for their roles, but they are not part of the main cast. They are those acting as chief officers, mayors, kings, etc. Staff are those who have the authority to punish players breaking the server rules. The differences between laws and rules will be discussed in a moment. Occupations. The Moose SMP will have a few pre-designed occupations for the players. You are not limited to these occupations and are able to create your own. These occupations are usually appointed by a king or mayor and offer ways to learn skills and make a living. A few examples of these pre-made occupations are bounty hunters, farmers, builders, officers, etc. Skills. Skills is what the server will use instead of a leveling system. Instead of having this, you must be level 60 in order to use this item. You will only be required to learn the skill for that item. You have not learned the skill or skills required to perform this action, would be more of what you would see. Using skills instead of a leveling system allows for players to choose different occupations based on the skills they have learned. You cannot be a bounty hunter unless you have the skills required to perform the actions needed. You can do anything on the Moose SMP, so you can try to become a bounty hunter. However, good luck on being hired if you have no skills to offer the one hiring you. Death. When a player dies due to natural causes, they will receive a temporary ban of 1 hour. If a player dies when they are in combat mode caused by another player, they will be temporarily banned for 3 IRL days. Dead players will be able to explore a custom map of the server's past or something similar. This is to be determined for further development. When a player respawns, they will respawn at a Totem of Undying statue found in their kingdom. When a player respawns, they will be temporarily taxed for being granted a second chance at life. Those with multiple deaths will gain a bad reputation and suffer from more tax and persecution from other players. Players can change which totem to respawn at for a price. If there was a murderer or serial killer on the loose, players would then be more fearful of dying and would want the extra protection from the officers. The reason for having death like this is to make death something that you do not want to happen. Players will be more careful with their decisions as death will have a price. The reason for the 3 IRL day ban from player-related deaths is due to the lore aspect of the server. For example, if a murder was committed, the officers would need time to hunt the killer down before the victim can come back. This offers a 3-day window for the killer to get away. Laws versus rules. Moose SMP has 2 sets of authority: lore authority and server authority. Lore authority are the laws that the players are supposed to follow. The laws will change depending on the region and the leader of that region. Things like building in certain areas, use of certain tools, where you can make a farm, getting permission from the ruler, etc. Server authority, however, are the rules implemented by the server staff and are punishable by mutes or bans. Things like hacking, cheating, duping, X-raying, swearing, NSFW content, etc. Laws are lore-based and may change from time to time and are punishable by in-game consequences, whereas rules are appointed by the server staff and are punishable by being muted or even banned from the server. Exile and Badlands. If you break a law on the Moose SMP, your punishment may be severe enough to warrant being exiled. Being exiled is not a desirable circumstance to find yourself in. Let's say you are a thief and you finally got caught. The king in power decides to exile you from the kingdom. If you are exiled from a kingdom, you are marked as exiled and are not allowed back into the kingdom. If you try to re-enter the kingdom, not only will the guards and players want to kill you, but you will also have some debuffs when entering the kingdom you are exiled from. When you are exiled, you are sent to the Badlands. The Badlands is a place in between kingdoms. This unclaimed land is desolate and lawless. The mobs there are dangerous and the atmosphere strange. There are no laws or guards in this land. There are no shops, no protection from thieves and raiders, no trust in allies, nothing. Those who are not exiled will gain debuffs when attempting to enter the Badlands. However, the Badlands have no laws. Therefore, you are allowed to build, mine, or do whatever you want without needing permission from the ruler. You can gain valuables and resources without taxes and without permits. However, good luck trying to sell those to anyone. Legally. Forge your own destiny. On the Moose SMP, you will be able to forge your own destiny. Instead of being stuck with a choice between a few different classes or roles to play throughout the entire server, players get to choose who they will become as they play. Every player starts off as a nobody and gets to choose how they can become a somebody. Maybe you want to become a wealthy nobleman, perhaps a brilliant general, or maybe even the most wanted thief in the realm. The choice is yours. You get to choose your occupation or role, your set of skills, and how you plan to rise in the social hierarchy or how you are feared in the underworld. You decide your own fate as you create your own character in this MMORPG SMP server. What do we expect of players and investors? First of all, we expect maturity. All players, investors, and members of the Moose SMP will be expected to show a sense of maturity. They should show the ability to follow the rules of the server and to take the server seriously, while also being able to have fun. The Moose SMP has a zero tolerance for toxicity. Making fun of players, the staff, or the server will not be taken lightly. A lot of work has been done to create a fun environment for everyone. Unconstructive criticism is rude and straight up toxic. Creativity. A sense of creativity and imagination is strongly encouraged for the Moose SMP. You will need to be able to operate with goals and duties primarily thought of by you. However, there are storylines and lore that you can use as a tool to help you in creating your character and story. You do not have to become a main character or hero. You can very easily help the main cast in multiple ways in the community. Participation is very much needed and appreciated, whether you have a story or not. Respect. Respect for other players and the staff is to be expected and required. Disrespect or bullying in any sense will not be taken lightly and will not be tolerated. You will be punished for something as simple as disrespecting others. I will be the one who dictates what is rendered as disrespectful and what is allowed. The exact rules and guidelines for the server will be written and uploaded prior to the server release. Friendly. All players should be friendly towards everyone, especially the staff and the new players. The Moose SMP should be a welcoming community that is friendly to all. New players should have no trouble finding out where to go or what to do on the server. Patient. Those desiring to play on the Moose SMP will need to have patience. The server is operating on a low budget with a small team of volunteers. Things will take time and will more than likely not be done right the first time. Instead of being critical and degrading, help us all out by being considerate and offering to chip in. If you have a concern or suggestion, make it known in the appropriate way. Be patient as everyone on the team has taken several hours of their own time to volunteer in the development of this server so you can have an enjoyable experience. Be kind and be patient. Help us by working with us instead of against us. The plan of the Moose SMP will commence as follows. The planning phase. The first phase of the development of the Moose SMP will be the planning phase. This phase will take the longest but is also the most important phase of the whole project. In this phase, the team is determining what the server is, how everything will work, and what will be needed before the official release. We will be working hard to determine the best way to handle every aspect of the server, from the creation of the stories, the design of the worlds, the economy, and so much more. This phase of development will finalize the thoughts and theories of how to do it all. Research phase. The research phase is where we will be taking everything determined in the planning phase and researching every possible way of doing it. We'll be going through everything already discussed and researching the different ways it could be done in order to come to the best possible solutions. Community feedback phase. The Moose SMP strives to include the community in the development of the server as much as possible. In this phase, we will be bringing out research to the players and asking for their opinions on what we found. I will have the final say on what happens, but I will take every opinion and suggestion into consideration. The development phase. The development phase is when the fun starts. This phase is where everything will be created. The maps, the textures, the lore, the plugins, everything. This phase will be the most difficult but also the most fun. Applications phase. After everything has already been created and beta tested for the server, the application phase will begin. During this phase, we will be uploading applications for positions such as the main cast and the subcast. These players will be undergoing training and be given a rundown of how the server will work and what their role will require them to do. The testing phase. The testing phase is when the staff will run a small trial run without the main cast to make sure that everything is going to work properly. Once we have determined that everything is clear for launch, the next phase will begin. The pre-release phase. The pre-release phase will kick off Season 3 of the Moose SMP. The main cast and subcast will be starting to play and stream on the server, following the story created for Season 3. Some final testing and bug fixes will be done during this phase. The official launch. Once everything above has been completed and all problems have been solved, the Moose SMP will officially launch, and players will be able to join for free. The early players of the server will be expected to practice patience, as any kinks will be worked out at this time. In return for such patience, all early players will also be rewarded with different benefits. These players also have a higher chance of being able to climb the ranks quicker than those who join later. The Moose SMP is a product of the Mr. Fisher Mooser brand, so therefore all information regarding the Moose SMP can be found on the Mr. Fisher Mooser website. Various useful information can be found on the Moose SMP website. Things such as updates. All updates for the Moose SMP will be announced on the Mr. Fisher Mooser website, mrfishermooser.com.